HCC MovieMakers Academy movie reviews. I'm Trey Dixon.
And I'm Kevin Simmons.
And recently we've been reviewing underrated horror movies, or at least movies that we believe to be underrated. And today I recommended that we watch and review Dog Soldiers, Neil Marshall's directorial debut starring Sean Pertwee and Kevin McKidd. It's about a group of Scottish soldiers who venture into the woods and find out that they're under attack by werewolves. And that's the whole movie. The werewolves aren't a metaphor. They're not a metaphor for a declining healthcare system. It's just a bunch of werewolves attacking some Scottish soldiers, and it's awesome. Kevin, I recommended that you watch this movie.
I sure did. Well, you sure did. I didn't.
I did.
Although I'm occasionally Trey Dixon.
Yeah, occasionally you are me, but this time you weren't. So what did you think of?
What did I think about it? It's got the curse of a cheap budget.
Of course it does. It's a directorial debut.
No, but it's not only that. There's a lot of directorial debuts went out with quote-unquote smaller budgets that still managed to pull it off. I think one of the best examples is like Pulp Fiction. That doesn't at all look like it was made for a cheap budget, but that was made for $8 million, which cheap for what it had.
I saw Dog Soldiers. It was probably, when I was introduced to it, it was the perfect setup. I was sitting at home watching the Sci-Fi Channel, and
which is, by the way, is a sci-fi movie, is it not?
What?
It's a sci-fi movie.
It is a sci-fi movie, kind of.
Like a Sci-Fi Channel or not.
It is the best original sci-fi movie ever made. No, like I was watching the Sci-Fi Channel on like a Sunday night, which is generally when they have their sci-fi original movies, and they're terrible schlock, but see them because they're great. And I remember turning it on, thinking, "Good Lord, this is the greatest sci-fi original channel movie I've ever seen in my life." But no, I found out it was directed by Neil Marshall, the same guy who did The Descent, which if you haven't seen The Descent, see it.
Give it a watch.
And this movie is gleefully unpretentious and wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, again, it's one of the things that I like a lot about these cheaper science fiction first movies.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's people, you know?
Yeah, just people with a camera and a few ideas with a small budget, and they put it together with nothing but their gumption and elbow grease and their own heart
and parental guidance.
And parental guidance. And,
yeah, sure, I'll give you $1,000.
Many, many buckets of corn syrup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some fake sausage intestines. Because you'll see a lot of gore in this movie.
Which you've just reminded me of the scene where the dog is pulling out a man's intestines.
Yeah, actually, I watched it again recently. He's not pulling on his intestines. He's pulling on a cloth that's holding his intestines inside.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So,
kind of got lost in the visual mix.
Yeah, so this movie is gleefully unpretentious, much in the vein of early Sam Raimi works. It has a lot of great action. It's blunt, but not too blunt.
No.
The dialogue is a lot of fun, and the action is really convincing, and I love the werewolves in this movie.
Do you?
I do. I love
That is my only problem with the film.
You don't like the werewolves?
No. Well, I like it in the sense that I like Sharknado, which, I'm not going to compare this movie to Sharknado, please, not at all. But I don't know, it's just...
Well, like what they do with the wolves in this movie, or at least what I noticed they do, is they kind of treated the werewolves in this movie like they treated the alien in Alien, where they kind of hide them in shadows for the most part, or they have them in a shot real quick and then they'll cut away from it. So they try to hide it for the most part. This is just a goofy costume that some guy is in. But these wolves cause some real damage, and you see the consequences of the damage they cause, so there's tension there.
No, I absolutely agree, and it's just, this is what I mean where it has the curse of the cheap budget, where it's just like, a lot of it feels like paced together, let's do this in an afternoon, kind of that vibe. That's why when I look at the werewolves, because you're right, they too, in the beginning of the film, I think they hit it really well. Yeah. And I think there's a really amazing effect where like the cow dropping scene.
Oh yeah, that comes out of nowhere, yeah.
Which I thought that was such a successful scare, I think.
By the way, real quick, that scene has a terrific monologue.
Does it? Oh yeah, the beforehand.
Sean Pertwee gives an amazing monologue in that particular scene.
It does.
It's a really great monologue.
It does.
Continue, sorry.
Which I think that's real artistry, where it's like you just hide it, you like build the tension, you build the world around it, the cow drops out of nowhere and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's like when I actually saw the werewolves, it didn't sold me that they were werewolves, it sold me that people are wearing werewolf costumes and terrorizing these people.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can sort of see that because you see that it's practical. You see that you can tell that it's not a CGI werewolf. That's something that automatically occurs to you.
What year is this? Like it's 99 or 97?
In the 90s.
Okay, that might be a part of me as being I've seen too many movies from there, and then I'm expecting too much and all that kind of jazz.
I mean, when you see it, you recognize, okay, that's a guy in a costume.
Yeah.
So what can you do with a guy in a costume?
Oh, absolutely.
And what they do worked very well. I think what they do with how they utilize the werewolves sparingly, for the most part, works very well. They go all out at the very end of the movie, where they just show everything.
Yeah.
But I think it works perfectly.
Rubber limbs, whatnot.
Rubber limbs and prosthetic limbs, stabbing through
but
prosthetic limbs.
I gotta say, the character who's injured and the character that takes over from the injured character.
Yeah. Sean Pertwee gets injured and Kevin McKidd takes over.
Which is just so fun. I don't know what it is. It's that dynamic of the guy taking over, whatnot, the born to be leader.
Yeah, no, and they set that up at the very beginning of the movie.
What's that scene, the scene where he's in such tremendous pain and they're literally trying to super glue him shut?
Yeah,
and he knocks the guy out in 2 shots.
Or he punches him. He's like, hit me again, you jerk.
Just instantly, yeah. Cuts a sentence off.
And he's gone. So,
it's just so much fun.
Which after that follows one of the best onslaughts of werewolf carnage
of all time.
Of all time, I think.
Yeah. And other time, if I may.
So, directed by Neil Marshall. This guy is probably up there with Guillermo del Toro as one of the best directors working in the horror genre. Now, anyway. He went on and he did a couple of episodes of Game of Thrones.
Which I saw.
Yeah. He did The Descent, which I know you don't care for particularly.
Well, let me say this one. Descent is one of those movies that I did fall asleep through. But I'm not saying that to his detriment. I think it's a fine horror movie. It was just me, the person, wasn't up for it.
With Dog Soldiers, it felt like he was just trying to have fun.
Yeah, and it comes across.
It comes across really well. It's just a fun movie, and it doesn't take itself seriously. It's a little bit above average in terms of movies that are kind of tongue-in-cheek and don't take themselves seriously, because there is actually some really good dialogue at parts. Yeah. And some pretty good character development.
Well, they never escape the box. They talk about the box, but they never leave the box.
Bottom line is, the movie isn't trying to be more than that. It's just trying to have fun. And then he went off and made The Descent, and that movie actually has terror in it. Well-constructed terror.
Oh, good God, the sense of claustrophobia you get from the beginning.
So I really like this director, and we need to keep our eyes on him, because he hasn't made many movies. He did that movie Doomsday.
Yeah.
Which,
saw the trailer of.
It was kind of silly, but at the same time, he was just trying to have fun, so I can't really bash it entirely. No. It's not a great movie, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. And Dog Soldiers is a lot of fun to watch.
Does he have any projects coming out or anytime soon?
He has this movie coming out called Burst.
Burst.
It's been in production for a really long time. I think it's been in development hell for a while.
Yikes.
But apparently the plot synopsis is there are a bunch of people in Antarctica or something, some snowy place, and they encounter a creature that kills people by making them explode. And that sounds great. I'm in.
That sounds great. That sounds phenomenal.
I'm in, and it's and you know what? It's in 3D. But I would, that concept, I don't know, I may bite the bullet and watch it in 3D.
Yeah.
But
as long as it's not as whack-tastic as Rubber was, I'll watch it.
Oh, yeah. No, Rubber didn't make any sense. But it also knew that it didn't make any sense.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, you're all right.
So I really like this movie, and I will probably do an in-depth analysis of this movie at some point on a separate channel. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Well, I'm going to agree with that. You know what? Because there's a lot to enjoy about this movie. Why not? There's a lot of the cheaper side. It kind of looks like it's VHS. It has that like early 90s to late 90s kind of visual effects on it.
We are critics, but we also recognize at certain points that we have
But there's a heart. Yeah, there's a beating heart in that movie.
There's a beating heart, but at the same time, when you watch this movie, you need to know that you need to leave that analytical part of your brain.
Absolutely. No, yeah.
That way you'll really enjoy this movie. So I really like it, and check out Dog Soldiers if you haven't. Thank you for watching HCC MovieMakers Academy Movie Reviews. We're brought to you by the Houston Community College Filmmaking Program and HCC TV. We love movies, and if you love movies too, then check out our website, www.hccs.edu. Enroll yourself in the art of filmmaking. Check out our YouTube channel and subscribe if you would like to see more reviews just like this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.